Hi, this is Roy Worley. Welcome to the interview show that brings on guests from all walks of life. Yeah, it's here that they tell their stories and delve a little deeper into their lives to see what got them where they are. So grab a drink, have a seat, and relax, because this is the Leo Effect.
When was the last time a short movie shook your emotions to the core? When was the last time a short movie caused you to rethink everything you stood for? When was the last time a short movie made you proud to be an American? When was the last time you felt the emotion to stand up and cheer after a short movie? The new short movie, I've Got Your Six, written and directed by Bill Foster, one of the industry's newest and fastest climbing directors, will answer all of those questions. Rarely has there been so much packed into a short movie that when you leave, you'll feel more proud of our American military veterans. A movie that was cast only with American military veterans will have you on the edge of your seat, cheering for our veterans and what makes America great. I've Got Your Six will be hitting the film festival scene soon. Be prepared to drop what you're doing and go see this powerful movie when it comes to your area. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Leo Effects. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. He's a guy I'm sure you've seen before, and I'm very, very excited and happy to have him here. Please allow me to introduce Mr. Jed Rees. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me, Ray.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad to have you here. And, I always start off the show with having the guest kind of say what it is they may be known for and what it is they do. But with your, extensive resume, I'm kind of thinking it might be an easier task to just kind of, what do you feel maybe, your 2, 3, 4 top things that you might be most known for?
Well, I'd say the top thing I'm known for is Galaxy Quest, where I played Teb, one of the Thermian aliens that came down from space. That was I'm from Canada, and I drove my beat up old convertible down to LA and just to try LA out as an actor, and that was my first audition. And oddly enough, it's what I get recognized more than anything, and it's been 20 years.
Wow. And you drove all the way from Canada?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what the Canadian actors do, is they build their resume up, and then they go, try the big time down in LA, and I was one of those guys. So, yeah, I mean, it was pretty amazing at that time in my life, just because, everything was so exciting and who knew what was going to happen. But so that's probably the thing I get recognized for the most. Then obviously Deadpool, which was out a couple of years ago. I had a small but poignant role in that. And what else? I did a TV series a number of years ago called The Chris Isaak Show, and there are some pretty diehard fans out there, so I get recognized for that as well. And then fourthly, I'd say probably The Ringer with Johnny Knoxville. It was a Farrelly Brothers movie where I played a mentally challenged Special Olympics athlete.
Right, yeah. Dang, you've got quite the diverse repertoire there.
Yeah, well, that comes with the territory of being a character actor.
That's fair. That's fair. What was it that made you decide to do this, to be an actor?
Well, I kind of fell into it. I did music my whole life. I studied classical piano at university, and I was going to go into music somewhere. And then I had a girlfriend at the time who came from a sort of theatrical family. The mom was like a theater mom, and I used to imitate people to make them laugh, at the dinner table or whatever. And she said, "Oh, while you're in college, you should they're starting to shoot a bunch of TV series here in Vancouver, and maybe you get an agent and make some money while you're in college." And so she set me up with this agent, and he told me I needed to take a class, and I took a class with this gentleman, Mel Tuck, at the Gastown Actors Studio in Vancouver. And I fell in love with it. And then he hooked me up with the Neighborhood Playhouse in New York. He knew the director there. And so I went to school there. And then after I spent a couple of years in New York, I came back to Vancouver, started acting. And I don't know, it was fun. It was exciting, and the money was good when you were working, and it just felt right.
Awesome.
Going back though, I mean, if I could talk to my younger self, I'm not so sure I would tell my younger self to make the same decision because it's so up and down. But still, it's like when you're on set working, nothing beats it. It's so much fun.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so did you have any kind of like a person or a thing of inspiration when you were getting into it?
Well, I mean, I was always really into movies. I liked watching movies, and Robert De Niro for sure was somebody I was inspired by, just how intense he was and how he would play different characters. And back then, this was, sort of prime Mickey Rourke. I used to like watching what he would do. Of course, I watched all of Marlon Brando's movies. And who else? Well, yeah, I mean, Robert Duvall's always been great back then. Gene Hackman, but the usual suspects.
Right.
And
yeah. Have you done like any kind of conventions or signings or things of that nature?
Yeah, I've done a few. I when Deadpool came out, I had this appearance agent, and he set me up with a few of these conventions, and yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, there's some definite fans out there of Galaxy Quest. That was the one that people wanted pictures of the most.
Oh, okay. Did anybody come up to you dressed as Teb?
Not as Teb, but as maybe the Thermians. There was a few, and then there was this one girl at a convention. She was dressed up as Dr. Lazarus, which was Alan Rickman's character.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she had a great outfit. That was probably my favorite.
That's
I saw
awesome.
out there in the convention world. Yeah.
So, is there any particular? Because we talked about it a little bit before. You've done such a wide variety of things. Is there a genre that you kind of like above the others?
Well, I guess from music, I have a certain timing that works with comedy, and so that tended to be something that I had an affinity for and was okay at. So that's something I enjoy doing. But I also like the sort of darker aspects of things. The darker characters I've played, I've enjoyed. And I recently just played an attorney for the first time. I played Heather Graham's attorney in a romantic comedy Netflix movie. And I really, really enjoyed playing an attorney. So that's something that I would maybe like to do more of.
Right on.
Sort of yeah. That was something that was a departure from what I'm used to. So.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you do like a lot of improv stuff, or is it kind of strictly the scripted?
Well, with comedies, and even in something like Deadpool, and it tends to be more like this nowadays than it was, let's say, when I was starting 20 years ago or whatever. But they'll do multiple takes and trying different jokes. So if you're working on a comedy, they'll be like, okay, let's get that the way it's written, and now let's try this, and let's try this, and let's try this line. And with someone like Ryan Reynolds, I mean, he's doing it completely differently every single, just trying to find the best joke, and that's in a certain type of scene. Whereas if it was something very sort of specific to moving the plot forward, you might have to say exactly what's written. But so yeah, it's with someone Peter Farrelly, he'll have you do it a bunch of different ways, and they're just looking for whatever's going to be funny. and then
Gotcha.
they piece it together in the editing room. Yeah,
Right on, right on. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, like I was always
Well,
curious about when there's room for improv and when you just have to follow the script.
yeah. I mean, you just got to do it. I mean, if you feel like it's funny, then just do it. That's what I say. Unless they're like, it's like, 4 a.m. on a Friday or a Saturday, and everybody wants to go home, and what's this actor doing messing around? But yeah,
That's fair.
you gotta try different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And so being that you've worked a lot with like script work stuff, do they ever just kind of like you show up one day and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we just completely changed this entire part. We're going to read it differently."
Yeah, that happens occasionally. That's happened to me on a couple of TV shows, and it can be a little difficult. Hey, we're not doing that scene. The scene from next week we're going to do right now. We're going to shoot it in 20 minutes, and it's like 5 pages long. And you don't know your lines. Yeah.
Oh, oh my. Does that ever like?
Yeah. Yeah, it happened to me once on something that I wasn't too happy about, but I got through it okay.
Gotcha. Does it ever get you so angry you're just like, no, you know what? I'm not doing this.
That has not happened yet,
Okay.
but I won't say it won't ever happen.
Right on. So if you
But
could,
what I've learned is
go
what
ahead.
I've learned is that you have to try to prepare ahead of time everything, because you never know what they're going to throw at you. So
Okay.
yeah.
So if you could be in any film or movie or TV show that's going on right now, what one would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I always when it was airing, I was like, oh, I'd really like to do something in Game of Thrones, something like that would have been cool, or like Vikings, like something sort of where it's dated, it's medieval or whatever. I like that sort of that genre, and in particular, to play something kind of dark or magical would be fun for me. But recently, I've been watching this TV show on HBO called The Outsider. It's a Stephen King based TV series with Ben Mendelsohn and others, and the acting is so good in that show that I look at something like that, or something like Ozark. Those are shows that I would like to do something like that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that'd be fun to see you in something like that, to be honest.
Yeah. Be fun for me too.
So do you have anything that's, you were just kind of talking about the show on Netflix, but do you have anything kind of coming up that you want to tell people, or that you can?
There's a couple of potential things, but they're just not really at this stage where I can actually talk about them. But other than that, I've been just trying to hustle up work. I've been writing a little bit. I've written a number of scripts, and some have been optioned. So when I'm not working, I'm doing that. And so I've got a couple of projects I'm working on right now.
Cool.
And those tend to just be comedies. So, yeah.
Well, everybody understands laughter, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you got to do what you enjoy.
Right.
And whenever I'm writing, it just always comes out as comedy. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
So if a director were to come up to you and say that, I have all the money, I have whatever location, access to, entire cast and crews, whatever you need, with you as the star, like, I want to make a movie, what would it be?
Oh man, I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I did music. Maybe like some sort of washed up musician who and it's a redemptive plot, I guess, would be something that I feel I could do. You have to, know what you're capable of and what you're marketable as, and that's maybe something I could do just because I know that world a little bit, and the depth of character that a musician might have. So yeah, something along those lines. But I noticed that one of the questions, you were you had written down that as a potential was who I would like to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Thomas Anderson. I think all of his movies are amazing.
Okay,
he would
cool.
be a good director to work with. Yeah.
Now, like when you're on set and you've got, everybody for the scene, you're all working together, do you think that it's kind of a collaborated effort to really make the scene work, or is it more the actors or more the direction of the director?
It depends. It's every dynamic is different, but generally the director's got an idea of what he wants, and then the actors come in with their ideas, and you kind of follow the director. But a good director will see what you bring to the table and then enhance that, unless it's completely off base, of course. But
right.
And then as far as working with other actors, it depends on the actor. I mean, I did a movie with Tom Cruise, and they cut a big chunk of the script out, which we had already shot, and I had a couple of larger scenes with him that didn't end up in the movie. It was American Made, and so one of the larger scenes that I had with him, it was just him and I in a room, and it was just, we were just two actors working the scene, trying to make it work, and coming up with whatever bits we could to make it work. It was like I was doing a scene with a partner in a class, like it was just another actor. And then as soon as the scene was done shooting, he became Tom Cruise again, But, and so, he, having the clout he has a little more influence, but he was totally open to whatever I was doing and working with whatever I brought. And then the director, Doug Lyman, also had his ideas of what he thought worked. And so we collaborated together and made the scene work. And it was a really nice scene, which ended up not in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's just something that came to mind when I think about working and how you collaborate. Like you could take somebody who's a huge star like Tom Cruise, and he's just another actor in a room trying to make a scene work with the other actor. So
right on, that's cool. I never really thought about it like that before.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I mean, everybody's different.
Right. What do you do right before, like, when you're preparing for a scene? You're kind of gone over your lines, and what's your normal routine before you get on set? Like, do you have a ritual that you do?
No, I don't have a ritual. I mean, I want to know my lines. I want to know where the character's at emotionally, and then of course, I have to think about what I'm trying to achieve in the scene and all the different ways I can achieve these things, and also imagining how the character sort of is parallel to my own life, and how I can implement that to keep it real. But I don't have a ritual, no.
All right. No. And have you ever kind of encountered a character that you just have had more trouble than ever getting into that mindset?
Maybe not. I mean, I played this sort of sadistic doctor on an episode of Castle, and he was pretty, like, unredeemable type of character. I always try to find the justification or the sort of the redemption in the character somewhere. You look at somebody like Jack Nicholson, he can play the most detestable person on the planet, but he's having so much fun and he's justifying everything he's doing that you're almost like on his side.
Yeah.
So, that's where, I mean, you see a good actor, they can play an anti-hero really well, and you're actually rooting for them. They've done a good job.
That's awesome. And that's exactly it. Like, I think it's all about being able to work with the other person.
Mm-hmm.
And, we kind of talked a lot about your career in general and your origin story, as it were. And so now I kind of want to ask a couple questions that are more like you here in the now. Like, you do all this work and stuff. What do you do to unwind? What's a good hobby for you?
Well, I still play piano, and I have a family, and my kids play piano, so everybody in the house plays piano, and so I play a little music. Where I'm currently living, I'm kind of on an island off the coast of British Columbia, so I go for walks in nature. I chop wood for the fireplace. I just live a life,
That's awesome. That's really cool. Like that just you're a normal person.
Yeah, completely.
And do you like play classical music, or do you kind of?
Yeah, I do. Well, I do classical, and I also, I've written songs and played in bands, and so I play a little bit of rock. But it's like, on piano, I generally play mostly classical, and if I'm playing guitar and stuff, I'll play a little more rock and stuff.
Nice. And do you have like family jam sessions?
I'm trying to get them going. My kids are still a little young for that, but we're on the cusp. Yeah.
Nice. There you go. And what would you say? I'm imagining when you say you're out on an island that it's kind of just this house in the middle of nowhere with just you and nature. Like what? How do you?
It's not too far off. Well, I'm close to Vancouver. I've been living just in the Los Angeles area for 20 years, and we thought we'd come up to Vancouver to try it out for a year or two to see how we liked it, and because it's where I'm from, and it's also where my wife's from, Canada.
Oh, okay.
And so we found this little spot off the coast of Vancouver. That's a short ferry ride, and so if I have auditions or whatever, I just go into Vancouver, and anything for LA I put on tape from the house, and then on this island they have everything you need. It's like a sort of family community. And,
okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. Is like, how do you get supplies?
Oh yeah, no, it's not like we have. It's got electricity and running water and things like that. So,
Okay, cool. So I guess the last question I kind of have for you is, what advice would you give to somebody that's just starting out in this career?
Well, work hard, stay open, and. You got to be passionate about it. I guess my biggest advice would be do it because you love the craft and not because you do it for fame or riches or whatever. You have to. My advice is if you really love it and you're passionate about it, then go for it 100%. But don't go for it halfway. Go big or go home. That's what I would say.
Right. All right. That's some good advice. I like it.
Yeah.
Would you like to take this last little bit here to let people know like where to follow you on social medias and tag along with things that you got coming out?
Sure. I'm not a big social media person, but I do have an Instagram handle, and I occasionally post. It's East Van Rees on Instagram. So it's EASTVANREES.
Cool.
That's my Instagram. And that's the only social media outlet I think I use. So you can follow me there and occasionally see some photos I take or upcoming shows I have or set pictures or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Kind of tag along.
Yeah.
Live through your eyes, kind of.
And the movie I did is the Netflix movie with Rachel Lee Cook, Damon Wayans Jr., and Heather Gray, and it's called Love Guaranteed.
Love Guaranteed. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's directed by Mark Steven Johnson. It's a romantic comedy, but it's good. It's fun. Yeah.
All right, we're definitely gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No. I was just saying thanks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say thank you for coming on the show and talking to me for about a half hour and just telling me a little bit about yourself. I really appreciate you coming on and doing that.
Oh, it was a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you to all the listeners out there who tuned in to check this out. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you all later. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures of all ages, what an amazing show. Thank you for lending an ear and joining us. I'm the host, Ray Rumsey, and if you want to hear more interviews, simply head to anywhere podcasts are heard, Facebook or Twitter, and search The Leo Effects, with an A, not an E. If you'd like to hear me doing silly voices and making a general fool of myself, head over to Shattered Dungeons on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We live stream every Tuesday night. More projects are in the works. For now, stay tuned for more interviews. To book yourself as a guest, you can head to theleoeffects.wixsite.com/podcast or send me an email at theleoeffects@gmail.com. Remember, this has been The Leo Effects, and great shows require great listeners, just like you. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.